And if we let everybody know that we are indeed started. So welcome to today's money session. It is your girl here, Nikki Sutherland, and I am going to be running through some money matters with us. And it'll be great if you guys can find the chat box. If you are able to turn your camera on, that'd be splendid, because it will make the old recording look a lot more nicer. If not, that's absolutely fine. I see some of you are plugged in at work, which is amazing. Okay, so this is the first of our many series of money matters that we're going to be doing. I'm excited about this. I've always wanted to do this. I've created many courses around money and different tips on how we can be better stewards of our money. Those of you that know biblically, we are to be good stewards of our money. Yes or yes, right? And so it's a very big passion of mine to talk about money. To the two M's that I love talking about, mindset and money. They're the two things that I absolutely love to talk about. And we're going to talk about them indirectly, mindset, but mainly money on this call today, because it's very, very important. And don't ever let anybody tell you that the way that we manage our money, how we talk about money, even talking about money in itself is not important. Don't ever let anybody tell you that. I want you to type money in the chat. It's one of the things that is quite seen to be blasé, that we kind of brush under the carpet, like, oh no, we shouldn't really talk about it, you know, especially in certain cultures. The lack of money seems to be talked about more so than actually, planning for wealth. And I want us to get into a place where we can pass down our generations, our children, godchildren, grandchildren, whatever that may be. And we can pass down the conversation to be open about talking about money. That actually having money is not greed, all right? Wealth is our birthright. We've been taught that money is the root of all evil. It isn't the root of all evil. Money is a resource that can buy us things, all right? Money enables us to help the homeless. Money enables us to give back to the community. Money is something that matters. And don't ever let anybody tell you that money doesn't matter. So we're going to be talking about some money matters on today's call. And I hope you are excited. So over the next few weeks during Cash for Christmas, I'm going to be giving you guys some free source on these very money matters. And what I will be doing as well is I'll be bringing on some special guests, some friends of mine who are experts in their fields. And so if you hear something that you want to get more information on, because I am not professing to be an expert, but what I will do is I'll teach you guys from my experiences, from things that I've learned along the way. There's some things I found out after I'd made a mistake. And how many of us know that, it's not great to learn after you made a mistake. Prevention is definitely better than cure. And so I want to teach you some of the things that I've learned along the way, teach you some things that I've been exposed to, based on certain levels of our life. And I know that you're going to get extreme value from this. All I ask for you to do on this call, as well as participate, is to take notes. All right, take notes and also have your goals at the forefront of your mind. And so today's session, we're going to be talking about money when it relates to house purchases and money when it relates to mortgages. That's what the topic is today. So I want everyone, if you haven't already got a piece of paper, I want you to get a piece of paper. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to get a piece of paper, right? I don't want you to write, you can convert it later on into, digital form. But for this exercise, I want everyone to have a piece of paper. Now, should you have your camera on, if you can wave that bit of paper at me to let me know that you're ready with it, okay? And if you haven't got your camera on, but you have your piece of paper, just put a ready in the chat box for me, so I know that you're ready. Now, what I want you to do on this piece of paper, okay, is I want you to draw a line down the middle, like that. Just draw a line down the middle. And inside the left-hand side of that line, I want you to write there something called outgoings. All right, outgoings. And when it comes to, we're going to take an exercise right now. I want you to write down the things that you have coming out of your account at this moment in time. All right, so what are your current outgoings? Okay, and you're going to list that. That's just for yourself. You're not going to give it to anybody. That's your private business. All right, and begin to write down what you've got coming out of your account. So this could be gas, electric, rent, mortgage. It could be council tax. All right, and you can take a couple of moments to do that. All right, petrol, all the things that you have coming out on a monthly basis. What are the things that you have coming out? Now, let's say, for example, I don't know, some things you don't pay for. I just want you to write the things that you directly pay for, okay? So don't write down anything that's not being paid by you, just the things that you currently pay for, what comes out of your account. Include savings. If you're currently saving at the moment, put your savings down. If you're currently eating out at restaurants, maybe 60, 100 pounds a week, put that down. What are the things that you currently have as an expense every single month? All right, write those things down. Now, what I also want you to do once you've done that is total it up. All right, total that number up. So you have a nice total, so you know the amount that's coming out of your account every single month. All right. On the other side, the right-hand side, I want you to type in, write in, income. What do you have coming in every single month? What do you have coming in? All right, how much is your income? What do you have coming in? And the difference between the two is called your disposable income, right? Now, hopefully that's a net figure. So it's called an NDI, a net disposable income, all right? So what I want you to do is I want you to subtract one from the other, all right? And that will give you your net disposable income. And then at the bottom there, you write down NDI, net disposable income, and you want to put that number there. Now, in income, you want to include things like obviously your salary, if you get paid, residual income. You want to include your trading, if you have consistent trading profits. You want to get, we're going to change that, Patrick. We reviewed that. We also want you to include child benefit. If you get child benefit, I don't know what they call them now, universal credits, I believe it's called. Housing benefit, don't forget that if you get any of those incomes coming in, any income that you get coming in. Now, do not include, you can also include child support if you get that regularly into your account. What you do not want to include is if your husband gives you a £50 allowance as cash each week, you can't include that. You can't include the money that your grandparents or your mum just slides into your account every week. You can't include, you can include rental income if you are paying tax on that money, right? If you're paying tax, if you've declared it, we're talking about declared income, guys, all right? So have a think about the money that you've got coming in. Now, no shame in the game. Patrick's already gone there. If you have a net disposable income, meaning that there's money left over, go ahead and type NDI in the chat box, a net disposable income, all right? Now, if you don't have a net disposable income, meaning that you're in the minus or there's not any money left, then I want you to put 2 N's and then DI. That's no net disposable income. All right, now in your outgoings, you also want to include things like credit card expenses, things that you've got coming out, all right? Loans, if you have any loans, credit cards, interest from an overdraft, anything at all you want to put in that left-hand side, all right? Now here's something for you. And this is some tips. I'm going to give you some tips as we go, and then we're going to go over onto the other side. All right. Yes, that we want to make sure that we have an NDI. It's very important. All right. Very important. So here's some basic tips that common sense, you probably know, but hear me saying them out loud may trigger something or may trigger your memory, all right? So tip number one is this: regularly review what comes out of your account. Is everything that's coming out of your account right now needed to come out of your account? All right, is everything that's currently coming out of your account right now needed? You know, it's funny because, you know, I don't have to worry anymore about my bills not being paid. I haven't been checking my account for a long time. And I checked my account and I saw something coming out of my account that should not have been coming out of my account, guys. I'm talking about a whole £300 a month shouldn't be coming out of my account. And it's been coming out of my account for over, I think it's 6 or 7 months, right? And so thank God I spotted it and I was able to call them and they reimbursed me. So it's almost like a little savings plan. So that was really good. However, there's sometimes where you be paying out to things that you should not be paying out and you can't get that money back. Right? So I need you to have a look. Maybe you've got a gym membership in a different location that you're not using anymore. Cancel. Maybe you have insurance on an old credit card that you don't use anymore, but you've got income insurance on it or protection or something. Maybe you've got outgoings to a charity that is no longer open, right? You would be surprised. These direct debits are coming out of your account and you have not reviewed it to get it cancelled. You thought it was cancelled, but maybe it isn't. So I want you to be, you know, I want you to take a review. I'm going to give you these, you know, tips as we go. So review your outgoings, right? That's one way to get some money back. Review your outgoings, especially if you have especially if you have a double NDI, you want to make sure that you review those outgoings, okay? Because that's one way of getting yourself that income, all right? So review the outgoings. Make sure everything that is going out actually needs to come out, right? Make sure that there's nothing that you are paying for that you don't actually need. Now, some of us, I say us now, because I've been doing it lately, are quite vigilant with our accounts. We know it down to the penny what's coming out, right? We're very, very, very mindful of that. Now, here's another tip for you. Avoid the cash point. Avoid the cash machine. What happens when you go to the cash machine? You have no money and maybe you need, I don't know, you're hungry. You want a sandwich, you need a can of Coke. And what happens when you go to the cash machine? You withdraw £10 or 20. Because why? Because it just feels good. Like, why am I going to the cash machine withdrawing £5? Like, just don't make no sense. So you end up withdrawing more money than you need, which means that you end up spending more money than you actually need to. Avoid the cash points, all right? Avoid them like poison. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that the cash points are actually a business, right? And a lot of people, you know, I did work for the bank for 15 years, as some of you guys know. And, you know, one of my jobs was to train, you know, the people in the banks all over the world. And one of the things that they are targeted for is to make sure their cash point never runs dry. Why? Do you know that every time you use a cash point, 50p goes to the bank that you are withdrawing from? So for example, let's say you are a HSBC customer and the closest cash point to you is a NatWest cash point. And you can use it because it says we use all Visa debit cards, blah, blah, blah. So you put your card in, you withdraw the money. And what happens is HSBC get charged by that bank for allowing their customer to use it. If you can imagine how many 50p's each bank is charging each other for using the cash points, all right? So the only time that you are affected by these charges is when you go to a random one that says we charge you £2.50 for these. Have you guys seen those ones? And you avoid them like the plague. You're like, listen, I use that cash point. I ain't paying no £2.50 for my money, right? So avoid the cash points. Cash points, they are the easiest way to get scammed as well. People get cloned by these scammers. using these cash points. This is another side kind of point, but avoid the cash points. If you can avoid cash points as much as possible, avoid them. Avoid the cash points, especially when it comes to controlling your money. I once spoke to a girl, her outgoings was 4,000 and her outgoings was 4,000, her income was 5, but she was withdrawing 1,500 a month from the cash machine, which meant that her NDI was now completely wrecked. That's why she was in an overdraft. So if you know that your outgoings are 4 grand, but your income's 5 grand, in your mind, you should know you have no business withdrawing more than £1 grand from the cash machine because you know what's coming out of your account. Does that make sense? It may sound very, very basic, but I want to make sure that you hear this, because then you can be able to control your money. The money matters, guys. It really, really does matter. So avoid the cash points. The next one I'm going to say just, all right? So the first one was to review the outgoings. Okay, very, very important. I had a little side one there. The second one, avoid cash points. Now, if you want to increase your NDI, there's only 2 things that you can do. Number 1 is, of course, review your outgoings. Number 2 would then be to do what? To increase your income. So the third thing that I'd ask you right now is to look at your income, all right? And we're not going to do this today. This may be another session. But number 3 is increase income, all right? And we're going to talk about increasing income on another session, all right? But there are different ways that you can increase your income in order to increase your NDI, all right? Because most people, there's not much they can do when it comes to their outgoings. Most people are literally, at a point where what they've got coming out is what they've got coming out. Sometimes you may find that, a red herring that you can cancel, but most of the time, the answer is to increase the income, not to decrease the outgoings. However, if you have number 4, is what we're going to look at next. Number 4 is around consolidation, right? Consolidation. Now, consolidation, what is that? It's putting loads of things together. Is there a way that there are things that you pay for that you could amalgamate, all right? So the easiest way to describe this is maybe debts. If you have 3 credit cards, maybe it could be to get that one interest-free credit card and bang them all on one. And now you have 1 payment to make rather than 3 or 4 payments. You could have a loan, 3 credit cards. Before I got into this academy, I had 2 loans, 3 credit cards, and they were just all scattered everywhere. And what I was going to do was I was going to just get 1 loan, clear everything, and then make that 1 general payment every single month. All right. So consolidation could be something that you may want to think about if it means that you can reduce your outgoings, which will ultimately help you in your NDI to increase that NDI, right? Another thing you could consolidate, and I'm just putting it out there. I don't know how many of you have this, but there was a point where I had an ironing lady, a cleaning lady, and I had somebody who was doing babysitting, right? And so what I did was consolidate it. Instead of paying 3 individuals to do 3 different things, I got 1 person who was able to do all those things, and I could pay that 1 person rather than paying 3 people, and it worked out cheaper. Okay, so again, a way you could consolidate activities as well as consolidating your income. All right, next one here, and then we're going to get into the numbers. All right, next one here, very, very important when it comes to your NDI is long-term strategy. All right, the long-term strategy. What's the long-term goal? A lot of us, what we do, and I've been guilty of this, is this. I've been like, I've got this amount coming in, that amount coming out. Let's say my NDI is 2-3 grand. So I'm like, cool, I got 3 grand to play with this month. How many of us do that? Right? I've done my, investments, I've done my savings, I put money aside, and then I've just given myself the rest of that NDI. And I'm like, boy, I got 3 grand to play with. And we got to make sure we're thinking of that long-term strategy. And that's what we're going to talk about today, more so, is the long-term strategy, so that we're not just blowing money for fun. All right, how many of you, or is it just me, that just goes on Amazon and just finds things to buy? Like, I will be on Amazon for one thing and I will find things to buy. It's like, okay, maybe I need that. No, what else can I Google? What else? And I go in the bar at the top and I'm just searching. Is it just me? Okay, maybe it's just me. And it's like, okay, have a long-term strategy. Don't just be, don't just buy things for the sake of it. Question yourself. All right. The next one here is, do I need this? Do I really need this? All right. Do I need this? Ask yourself, do I need this? Now, me personally, I don't believe in a lack mindset. So if I want something, I believe that I should have it. But what I've been doing lately is asking myself, no, Nikki, do I need this? I'm not saving because I can't afford it. I'm saving because I have a long-term strategy, which is different, right? I want us to understand this. A lot of the time, when we're coming into a space of wealth, we're like, you know what? I want to go in the shop and buy without checking my account, right? And yes, it is great to be able to buy without checking your account. But it's also great to have the wisdom to say, actually, no, I'm not going to buy. Have any of you guys met rich people and say, wow, they're so mean, or they're tight? Why are they still hackling prices, and why are they still? And that's why they're wealthy, because they don't blow their NDI every month. They're good stewards of their money. And so don't give yourself I call it a budget, not a target, right? That's what I want you to write. It's a budget, it's not a target. So if you haven't done it all, it's not a target for you to spend it all, right? It's a budget, it's not a target. So yes, in your mind, you got NDI, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 NDI, but it doesn't mean you need to spend that every single month. What it means is now we need a long-term strategy. What's the strategy for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Now, what I want you to do, just out of curiosity, right, for yourself, is I want you to take your NDI and times it by 12 and just have it written there, right? Your NDI times by 12. So that you can see if you were a good steward of your money and you didn't use your NDI as a target, how much you would actually have at the end of 12 months if you were able to keep that money aside, plus your savings, right? Because I'm sure some of you guys have put savings down or investments or whatever, plus that, what you would actually have left, okay? So I want you to see that figure in mind. Now, what I'd love for you to do in the chat box for me, and I know a lot of you have been manifesting properties. I know a lot of you are going to be buying properties over the next 12 months, within the next 12 months. So I would like it. Okay, so Patrick, right. Yes, so the NDI times 12 is great because that's a big chunk of money that you're going to be having in the next 12 months, right? But now that double NDI, right? The double NDI times 12 is terrifying, because that means if you keep doing what you're doing now, that's how deep you're going to be. And so that is a clear-cut sign to say, yo, something needs to change, right? Something needs to change. And so I've seen the people that have double NDIs work harder than the people that have an NDI. You know why? Because their Y is a little bit bigger, because they need this, right? And so now what I want you to do, guys, in that chat box, those of you that know that within the next 12 months, okay, and if you're somebody that already has a house and you're looking at, upgrading a house or remortgaging or whatever, you can participate in this as well. If you're someone that doesn't have a house and a house is something that is on your list, I want you to put the amount, the property value that you have been looking at. So if you've been looking at a house for 500,000, put 500,000 in. If you've been looking at a house for 300,000, 800,000, I want you to put that number in. So what is that house? What's the value of that house that you have been looking at purchasing? All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to play around with some of these figures so you guys can see. All right, you guys can see exactly what's required. So what we're going to do is we're going to work it backwards. This is how you do your long-term strategy, right? So let's go ahead and have a look. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up some calculators so we can have a look at this, right? Now, again, hold up, guys. I want you to make sure that you take notes on this, because although we're going to go through it quite quickly on this call, because of time, I want to make sure that you have it available so you can go away and play around with it yourself and get some accurate figures depending on where you are. All right. Bear with me, let me pull this up and then I'll show you my screen. Okay, so we're going to play around with it and do a few. I'll do one new and I'll do one remortgage as well, right? Put some ones in the chat if you can see my screen. So I've lost my chat box. Oh, there we go. Got it back. Okay, cool. So I pulled up here. And depending on your bank and depending on different requirements, this is literally just a blank overview, okay? This is not the standard. There's different ways around different things, but I just want you to see how it works, okay? So let's say you're brand new, you don't currently have a property. I'm currently on natwest.com, and like most banks, they allow you to use figures on here, right? So how much can I borrow? Do you have a mortgage with us already? No. Is the mortgage for your home? Yes. Okay. Let's say you're a first-time buyer. Okay. What would you like to do? Find out how much you can borrow and see the monthly costs. Okay. Boom. Get started. All right. So now we've got the basic things here. To say it's one person, and let's say the income, I don't know, we'll do 120K. This is chairman, right? Do you have any other sources of income? Let's just say no. No loans, no credit cards. Do you have any monthly expenditure? We're just going to say no to everything just to get to where we need to get to. Any dependents? No. All right. Please tell us the estimated of the property. So I think the first one I saw was 250,000. Right. So we'll work with that one. This is the amount of money you've already got towards. So let's say you've saved, I don't know, 10%, 25K. Now, with the property, you know, some companies will allow you to go 35 years. All right. Boom. And now we've got a quote. So now we know, based on an income, okay, of that 120K a year, they'll actually lend 510,000 towards a house with a deposit of 25,000 and a monthly 700 to 832 a month. Now, just drop in the chat for me if you are somebody who's renting and your rent is more than this amount here. Put a 1 in the chat box for me. If you're renting at the moment and your rent is more than 724 a month, all right, so potentially you're paying somebody else's mortgage, right? That's what people that rent houses actually do. Okay, so as somebody who is, you know, a property value of 510,000, okay, the maximum property budget is 535,000. So a person who is a chairman in this company, all right, would be able to lend up to that amount, all right, 535,000. That's with no other income and no debts. Now, when you've got debts and other stuff going on, so let's just do, I'll just mess about with it one more time before we go on to something else. All right, let's just say I have a dependent, Say I've got one child. What do you think that's going to do to my affordability? What do you think that's going to do to, okay, look at that, guys. Straight away, I've got one child and it's telling me there, sorry, you don't have enough money. Look at that. One child says, sorry, you don't have enough money. Stop it, Amina. Just like that. Now, what it's going to do is show you different things here. So there's all different things. I'm not going to go into, you know, the mortgages and stuff like that. But here you've got here, £724 a month, literally £995 product fee, which you can add that onto the mortgage, makes it 727. And now you have an idea that actually I could get a mortgage. Now let's say, let's bring it down a bit. Let's say, hold on, let's go back. Say you're making a little bit less than that. So do you have a mortgage with us? No. It's going to be your home, first time, get started. Let's go. One person applying. All right. Maybe two. Let's say two. So now, and a lot of people don't know, right? Not with NatWest, but when you go with a broker, let's say, for example, you don't earn enough because you're like, Nikki, I don't earn chairman money. I don't have 120, blah, blah, blah. All right. And you're like, well, blah, blah. Do you know that you can actually do a mortgage with more than one person? So yes, it can be your spouse, but it could also be your cousin, your brother, one of your friends. You could do it up to 4 people, I've heard, right? So let's say, okay, your income is, I think, 40K a year, right? Do you have any other personal incomes? No. All right, outgoings, so keep that a no. All right, now your cousin is earning, I don't know, a bit more, 50K or less. Let's do 20. All right, let's say your cousin's on 25, low income. Okay. Right, you can do up to 4 people. Boom. So now, independence, let's say property price again, 250. All right, 25K deposit. Again, 35 years. Now, obviously, if you do lower years, the price is going to go up as well. Okay, they do it up to your 70th birthday. And look at that. So now 2 people, lower income, 1 on 40, 1 on 25, gets you 300K. 4 people be a bit more, etc., etc. So this is where you can be creative, all right? Buy a house with your friend, a cousin, whoever it is. You guys all get a room each or whatever it is. Do what you need to do. Now check this out, guys. A lot of people don't know this. If you do not have a mortgage already, you cannot do what we call buy to let. They won't allow you, right? So if you, do you have a mortgage with us already? No. Buy to let. Now what's a buy to let? A buy to let is where you're going to rent the house out. So you're going to buy it, you're going to rent it. Now, same property, 25K. They will not allow you to buy that house. Look, with buy to let, you need at least 25% deposit. They won't allow you. All right. So with a buy to let on that same property, this time you need about 75K. All right. Now, 2 types of payments here. You've got capital and interest, which is the most expensive one, but it means that each payment you make, the mortgage is going down. Interest only is the cheaper one, but it means that you're still owing at the end of the 35 years, you will still owe 250,000. It means that the amount that you're borrowing will not 250, sorry, the 185, you will still owe that money because you're not paying any off. So let's have a look at interest only so you can see. Now, if you're renting it out, guess what? The rent is going to give you the money. So look at this, guys. A lot of people are just like, oh, you know, interest only is a scam. I'm not going to do it. Why would I pay for so long? And I'm still going to owe the bank the same price. But look, interest only on a buy-to-let for that amount. Now look, the mortgage is only £300, right? I'm going to rent out this property, a 2-bedroom in Catford. You're going to get at least 1,000, 1,500 a month. 1,500 a month on a buy-to-let, and the rent is 300 minus the little insurance, call it 500. That's a 1,000 a month profit that you are going to have every single month on this buy-to-let. Why would I do interest only? Because I know long term, after the 35 years, I just sell it and make my profit. Capital and interest, however, let's have a look at this price. Let's see what's good. I don't even think it would. Let's see. I mean, it's still 600 a month. Can you see the difference? Right? Now with buy-to-lets, you got to make sure that, you know, there's a lot of intricacies with buy-to-lets, but if you're buying to let, you have to already have a property already. It cannot be your first property. You must have a property already. All right. Now with buy-to-let, I'm aware the reason why they do it like this is because it's not based on your income. It's based on the income of the actual rent that you're going to receive. Okay, so you do have to have a certain amount of income. Each bank is different, and I don't want to, you know, qualify that. But you literally would be able to get this property, rent it out, and that would be a really good deal. What wouldn't be a good deal is if the rent for the property was £600 and the mortgage is 591 plus your insurance, then you're in an NDI, and that is not a good deal, right? That's not a good deal at all. So that is your buy to let. Now, for those of you that currently already have a property and maybe you're looking to remortgage, maybe you're like, you know what, I've got some debts, I want to remortgage and clear my debts, or I want to remortgage and buy another house, right? Do you already have a property? Right, so it's your home, and maybe you want to move home or remortgage, right? So you want to remortgage. So boom. So let's say your current value of your house is maybe 500K, right? And let's say you've had it for a long time and maybe you owe like 150. All right. So now you have equity in your house. So that means you've got equity. How much equity do we have, guys? 150 from 500. Let's see, where the math people over there. Right? And maybe you have like, I don't know, maybe you have like about 10 years left or 15 years left on your house. All right, boom. All right, everyone's all quiet on me. What's going on? Thank you, Sam. All right. So you've got 350 equity. And let's say your debts total about 30K. Let's say you had a few things going on. So now what you're looking to do, you're looking to borrow that 150 to pay your old mortgage off, or an extra 30. Let's say you want to do an extension for your house as well. So maybe we're going to borrow, you know, 60K to be able to do the extension, pay off that, and still have all that equity in the house. Or what we could do is do a whole 100 here, get a deposit for a new house as well to do that buy to let that we just looked at, right? So boom. Now we're pulling out money here, and now look. So based on the 250, so this is the 100 here, plus the 150 that you already owe, you're going to get 100 grand cash. Now that will be your deposit for that other house. You're going to spend the rest on debts. Now you've got a new mortgage or 1,005 to 1,006. But here what? You've now got another house. So now out of this 100K, you're going to put that 75K into the other house we just looked at. And what happens is that other house is now paying us 1,500 a month. So guess what? The other house now pays the mortgage for this house. And guess what? We just have to pay that 3 bills a month for the other house. And boom, we now have an NDI of 1,500. Can you see how we just created income from an investment? So when people say lending isn't good, it's not that lending isn't good, it's that a lot of people don't know how to use the lending in order to create an income, right? So we got equity in one house, we pulled the money out to get another house, and we now rent out the other house, and the rent for the other house pretty much pays the rent for both places. And now we have an NDI of 1,000 plus. Okay, and now you've cleared your debts, so you're saving whatever you were paying on a monthly basis on those debts. And now, boom, everything is all now in order, neatly. Does anyone have any questions about what we spoke about so far? Because I'm aware that we are coming to an end on this session at a moment. So I want to give you guys some homework. Now, what I want to give to you guys is some homework, which is to play around with these calculators. All right, you guys all have your goals. We talk about your goals consistently. And what I want you to do is really figure out what you're going for over the next 12 months. Now, it goes without saying that the more income you have, the more NDI you have, is the more you're able to borrow, is the more you're able to help. Now, what we're going to do next week is we're going to talk about how to improve your credit rating. All right. Now, don't worry about credit rating right now. We're going to talk about that next week on different things that you can do to improve your credit rating. Your girl's rating is 999. I'm very proud of that. All right. And there's some key things that you have to do in order to make sure that your credit rating is up to get the best deals and the best rates, right? Now, if for any reason that your credit rating isn't up, but you want to, you want to do certain things sooner rather than later, don't have no fear, because that's what brokers are there for. And I have an amazing set of brokers that I can recommend to you guys. Nothing to do with me. They're just people that have helped me in the past. And they help all different types of people with all different credit ratings. All right. So have that in mind. One of the things that I felt when I had a situation in my previous marriage that, oh, my credit was never going to come back to where it needs to be. It's been damaged. There's words like blacklisted. There's no such thing as blacklisted, by the way. There is no such thing as blacklisted. And we've really created these things, and we avoid doing things because we think that we've been blacklisted, or we think that we can't do things, and we think that something in the past is holding us back, and actually it probably isn't. So we're going to look at that next week. But what I want you to do for your homework is I want you to play around with those calculators. I want you to really understand what your goal is. Is your goal your property? How much is it? Start looking around on different, estate agents, different websites. Look at the houses that you want. Be realistic with yourself. What's your income right now? What rank would you need to hit in order to help you with your income? That 120K a year is chairman, right? What would that 120K a year enable you to do? Enable you to get more house. Can you guys hear me? Someone's putting no sound. Okay, cool. Right. So what position would you need to be at in order to get to what it is that you want? All right. How many sales on your store would you need? How much, what do you need? The funny thing is, if I work out this real quick with you guys, without going too much into depth, do you guys all understand, right, that 120K a year, all right, is 2,300 a week. Okay. Now that may sound like a lot, but if you work out how much you're getting paid right now, let's say weekly you're getting paid, I don't know what your salary is, but whatever you're getting paid a week right now, if you want to make 120K a year, it's 2,300 a week. That's what you need to make 120K a year. Now, if you're already in receipt of an income, then you want to minus that off and see what your shortfall is. Now, let's say, for example, let's round it down to 2,000 a week. All right. 2,300 a week, divide that by 7 is £300 a day. How can you make £300 a day? Do you know £300 a day is simply 120K a year? Now, £300 a day could be what? You could have 100 of that is your work, 100 of that is your trading, 100 of that is your business that you're building. All right. Think about it logically. I want you to think about your income in a way that it's business-like. Don't just be, having it loose. How do I make? The goal is everyone to earn at least 10,000 a month. That's the goal. Whether it be going chairman, whether it be trading, whether it be an amalgamation of all of them, but the goal is 10,000 a month. The goal is 2,300 a week. That's the goal. How can we break it down to make 2,300 a week? It could be remortgaging, pulling out and getting a buy to let and earning some extra income there. It could be ranking up, hitting platinum 1,000. 1,000 is 250 a week. So if you hit platinum 1,000, which is 250 a week, now all of a sudden, all you need from the 328 a day, right? 3 minus platinum thing, minus what you're working. Let's say you're working 500 a week. That means you only need a 1,500 in your trading. Divide that 1,500 for the week. That's £200 a day. How many of you can make £200 a day trading? If you think about it like this, I've just given you a blueprint. The blueprint is this. Whatever you do for your 9 to 5, you're still working a 9 to 5. Platinum 1,000, £200 a day trading. Those 3 things is 120K a year. Done. And that is your house. And that's what I want us to break down over the next couple of weeks, how we can actually make this possible, how we can make it tangible. All right, what can you do to actually make that income tangible? And what are the resources that you have available? 200 a day trading is very doable, Patrick. But can you be focused to do that? Can you put a time aside to be focused to do that? Can you be disciplined to do that? Because now we can translate that into getting more assets. What is it that we do? We use our income to create something that's going to create us more income. So I'm not against us having a 9 to 5, but what I am against us is having all of that 9 to 5 money coming in, and then it's gone back out again and nothing is turning for us. Nothing is creating more income for us. I need you to get that money in. What is it that they say wealthy people do? Wealthy people get the money in and they invest first and then they pay other stuff after. So you want to make sure that within your outgoings, what is your investment? You're investing in I Am Academy, you're investing in your subscriptions, right? You're investing in what else? You're investing in your, trade accounts, you're investing in cryptocurrency, you're investing in mentorship. What are the things that you're investing in that's paying you back? Rather than look at that left-hand side that you've written, how many of those things? And what I want you to do is go away from today and circle the things that's actually an investment, because you'll be surprised that the things that you're paying are just things that are just coming out. Yes, we need electric. Yes, we need gas, but there has to be room for us to have that income make us more money. Otherwise, we're not eating bread. The Bible says, by the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread. And so we are taking that money that we're getting from whatever avenue we're getting it, and then we want to put it into something that is investing, that's paying us back and creating more income. Now, right now, some of us may not be at the position to do the buy-to-let property, and that's fine. But what you want to do is you want to write it down so that you know how you're going to get there. Because we want to be creating assets here, not liabilities. And that's why when people see me go so hard, is because I got the long-term vision in mind. I know where I'm going. I know what's happening. I cannot afford to allow my income to come in and I'm just letting it go out. I'm wasting it on hair, nails. And that's why I'm now, really realizing that it's a budget. It's not a target. It's a budget, it's not a target, right? So I want you guys homework. I want you to have a look, circle those outgoings that are investments. If you don't have investments on that side, you ain't got nothing bringing you in. Then I urge you to realize that there's some avenues where you have income that you're not tapping into. There's some avenues here in the academy that you have access to that you're not tapping into. All right. How many people do you know in your phone book that would have benefited from a call like this? How many people in your phone book right now that you know could have been on this call to say, hey, yo, this is worth the subscription money, right? This is all a part of what you get when you come into Wealth Your World. And so this is where we got to get creative. This is where we got to be like, okay, cool. I need to create income because the outgoings, I've reduced as many of them as I can already. What can I do to create an income stream? What do I need to do? Legally, right? Want to do everything above the book. I don't know, go out, try to do nothing untoward and say, Nikki says I need to create income. So you go do some madness. No, legal income. We can't use anything that's not legal, right? So with that being said, guys, I hope that you found this session useful. All right, I'm going to give you your homework. Circle the outgoings. The next one, I want you to play with those calculators. There's different ones, play around with them and rewrite your goals. Rewrite your goals really in a numbers. This is a numbers thing, right? Understand the goals on a numbers situation. I've given you a plan. 200 a day plus platinum 1,000 plus your income at work is 120K on average. Now, will you go about that business and make sure it gets done? Platinum 1,000 is just 3 people that are P600. That's easy. Do you know 3 people who know 3 people who know 3 people? And now all of a sudden you've just created an income stream out of nothing. So I hope that's been useful for you guys. Please put your top 3 takeaways in Discord. We're going to head over to the DCX call, another income stream for you guys. All right. And I'm going to be back here next week, God willing, with some more Money Matters tips for you guys to help us. All right. Remember, stay away from those cash points, review those outgoings, find a way to increase your income. Make sure your long-term strategy, all right? Don't just be buying things because you've got the NDI, and also ask yourself the question, do I need this? All right, make a decision based on what you need, all right, not your comfort zone. That comes with the work ethic as well as the spending, okay? So I hope you found this useful. I will post this. Can we take a photo? Yes, go ahead and take your photos, your boomerangs, all right? Money matters, guys. It really does matter. All right. Money is not the root of all evil. It is the love of money over the creator, right? That is the root of all evil. The love of money is not the root of all evil. We have to be good stewards of our money. All right. The Bible would not say be a good steward of your money if money was evil. Why? It wouldn't tell us to do that. It also tells us not to, not to bury our talents. And so our talents do bring forth, all right, fruit. All right, so don't ever let anyone tell you any different. All right, so thank you guys. It's been a pleasure to host this call. Let's go over onto our DCX session. Don't forget to claim your points and let everybody know that you enjoyed this session. We will have a part 2 next week. All right, thank you guys. Lovely to have you guys on. Let's go.